All right, so you're getting ready for a drugstore manager interview,
Okay.
which means you're aiming for a role that's a mix of leadership customer service,
Right.
keeping up with a fast-paced retail environment.
Yeah.
We've got some resources from RoleCatcher to help you nail this interview and
Us?
maybe learn some industry insights, too,
Sounds good.
along the way.
Yeah, it's a really dynamic role.
It is.
And
Yeah,
honestly, with online shopping and all the new tech, like mobile ordering and all that stuff,
totally.
it's becoming more and more complex.
It is. So we'll dive into RoleCatcher's insights
Are they?
on common interview questions,
Mm-hmm.
how to answer them strategically,
Yeah.
and even touch on some potential follow-up questions that could really throw you off.
Yeah. And we'll sprinkle in some of RoleCatcher's insights from their Drugstore Manager career guide.
Oh,
So you can get a feel for the career path.
Nice.
We'll even explore how their AI can give you an edge in tailoring your answers and getting feedback.
It's like having a secret weapon
It is.
for interview prep. But before we get into that, let's paint a quick picture of what a drugstore manager does.
You're basically running a mini empire.
Whoa. Right.
You manage employees, boost sales, juggle budgets, predict what people are going to buy, make sure the shelves are stocked with everything from meds to cosmetics
Right.
to household goods and even candy.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot.
It's pretty diverse.
It is.
And speaking of diversity, RoleCatcher's career guide highlights that this industry is super competitive.
It's true.
But the good news is the job outlook for drugstore managers is projected to be steady.
Exactly. And that's largely due to the growing demand for health and wellness products.
Yeah, people are much more proactive about their health now,
They are.
which means more trips to the drugstore.
Makes sense.
So it sounds like a career with potential for growth.
Definitely.
But let's conquer that interview first.
Okay.
RoleCatcher's first question is, how do you prioritize tasks and delegate duties to your team members?
Okay.
Seems pretty straightforward, but I'm guessing there's more to it.
Absolutely. The interviewer is trying to see how you manage your time
Okay.
and your leadership skills.
Uh-huh.
Can you juggle multiple things and empower your team?
Gotcha.
They want to know if you have a system, if you can delegate, and if you're making sure everyone's on the same page.
So how do you tackle this one?
Outline your process.
Okay.
Do you use to-do lists, a task management system, project management software?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about how you assess your team's strengths and weaknesses to delegate.
Right.
And remember, clear communication is key to successful delegation.
Makes sense, but what if they dig deeper
Okay.
and ask how you handle situations where a team member is struggling?
That's where examples come in.
Okay.
Think about a time you delegated a complex project.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do? How did you ensure clear communication and accountability?
Okay.
Having a real-world story will make your answer stronger.
That's a great tip, and this is where RoleCatcher's AI can help you prepare.
It can. Their AI can analyze the job description and help tailor your answer to that specific drugstore.
Okay.
Is it a small independent pharmacy or a big chain? The challenges will be different, and AI can fine-tune your response.
It's like a personalized coach.
Totally.
Okay, question 2.
Okay.
How do you handle difficult customers or situations?
That's a classic.
I feel like this is a classic for any retail management role,
It is.
especially in a drugstore,
Especially,
where emotions can run high.
definitely the interviewer wants to know how you stay calm under pressure
Okay.
and resolve conflict.
Hmm.
Can you turn a negative customer experience into a positive one?
Right.
You're dealing with people who might be stressed, anxious, or not feeling well.
So empathy is key.
It is.
How do you convey that in your answer?
Focus on active listening and problem solving.
Mm-hmm.
Describe how you approach a difficult customer.
Okay.
You listen to them,
Yeah.
acknowledge their frustration,
Uh-huh.
and find a solution. If you have any training in de-escalation techniques, mention that.
What about things to avoid saying?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
I feel like there's some landmines here.
Don't badmouth previous customers or colleagues.
Right?
And don't get defensive.
Okay.
Stay composed and professional,
Mm-hmm.
and be specific.
Okay.
Share an example of a time you successfully navigated a difficult interaction.
Nice. Okay. Let's move on to question 3.
Sounds good.
How do you ensure that the store is in compliance with all regulations and policies? This seems important in a drugstore.
It is. You've got over-the-counter medications, controlled substances, maybe even a pharmacy.
Yeah.
And high PA protects patient privacy.
Right.
The interviewer wants to see that you take compliance seriously
Okay.
and have a system for staying up to date.
So it's not enough to just say, I follow the rules.
Not really.
What kind of details would impress them?
talk about your process.
Okay.
Do you go to conferences to stay informed?
Do you subscribe to publications? Have you done any training programs or checklists?
Those are good points, and I bet they'll ask about a specific regulation
Oh, for sure.
and how you follow it, or a hypothetical situation.
Exactly. They're looking for someone proactive, not just someone who can recite the rules.
Okay, and this is where RoleCatcher's AI can be helpful.
For sure.
Right.
It can analyze the job description, identify the most relevant compliance skills
Okay.
and experience you should highlight.
Well,
It can even identify gaps in your knowledge.
so if I need to brush up on high pay,
It can point you to resources.
that's so helpful.
Huh.
All right, let's tackle question 4.
Okay.
How do you motivate and train your team members to provide excellent customer service?
Right.
This is where the people-person aspect comes in.
Right. It's more than just training.
Yeah.
It's about inspiring them to go above and beyond, especially when customers might be feeling vulnerable.
So how should someone respond to this?
Start with your philosophy on customer service. What does excellent customer service look like to you?
Yeah.
Then talk about your training approach.
Yeah.
Do you use role-playing, shadowing online modules?
Okay.
Share examples of specific programs you've implemented.
And what about motivation?
You have to create a positive work environment.
Right.
Do you recognize good service? Do you offer professional development? You're not just a manager.
Right.
You're a leader who invests in their team.
Okay, so they might ask you to describe a time you motivated an employee.
They might.
Or how you deal with employees who fall short of expectations.
Right. They'll want to see your coaching skills in action.
Okay,
So have a few stories ready.
got it. Love it. Okay, let's tackle question 5.
Okay.
How do you manage inventory and ensure that stock is always available?
This is a logistical puzzle.
Oh, yeah?
A drugstore has so many products,
Yeah.
some with short shelf lives and others with high demand.
Mm-hmm.
The interviewer is looking at your ability to keep the store stocked, minimize waste, and make sure customers can find what they need.
So how do you tackle this one?
Highlight your understanding of inventory systems.
Okay.
Have you used any software? Are you
No.
familiar with FIFO or LIFO?
Okay.
Talk about forecasting demand, analyzing sales data.
Got
You
it.
want to show you're data-driven.
What details would impress them?
Talk about your experience reducing waste,
Mhm.
like stock rotation or strategies to minimize expiration.
Right.
You could also mention managing relationships with suppliers
Gotcha.
to ensure timely deliveries
Yeah.
and good terms.
So I bet they'll ask how you handle a surge in demand for a product.
Oh, yeah. They'll want to see you adapt and problem solve.
Huh.
They want to see you can think on your feet.
And this is another area where RoleCatcher can help.
Absolutely.
Right.
It can analyze the drugstore's sales data
Uh-huh.
and inventory practices
Okay.
and tailor your answer.
Nice.
It can even suggest key performance indicators to highlight.
KPIs.
Those are the key metrics used to track performance,
Right.
like inventory turnover,
Right.
which shows how quickly a company sells and replaces inventory.
That makes sense.
So RoleCatcher helps you speak their language.
I like that.
Okay.
Okay, I think this is a good place to pause.
Okay.
We've covered 5 key questions, and there's more to come.
Don't forget, we'll be diving into more questions
Right.
and exploring the drugstore manager role even more.
Okay.
Plus, we'll unpack RoleCatcher's platform.
Stay tuned. Welcome back. We're diving deeper into Drugstore Manager interviews,
Right.
exploring the questions that really matter
Yeah.
and how to answer them like a pro.
It's not just about the skills.
I know.
It's also about your personality.
Yeah.
They want to see someone they'd want to work with.
Speaking of what it's like on the job,
Yeah?
RoleCatcher's career guide
Right.
doesn't sugarcoat it.
It doesn't.
On the plus side,
Mm-hmm.
they highlight the high job security
Yeah.
and potential for advancement.
Uh-huh.
But like any management role,
Right.
you're looking at potential stress
For sure.
and long hours.
Long hours.
So a rewarding career, but not for the faint of heart.
Nope.
Let's jump back into the questions.
Okay.
RoleCatcher's next one is,
Right.
how do you ensure that the store is visually appealing and meets customer expectations? This feels less about regulations
It does.
and more about the shopping experience.
It's all about retail aesthetics
Okay.
and customer psychology,
Uh-huh.
creating an environment that's both inviting and functional.
So it's not just making things look pretty.
Not at all.
Oh.
Understand the target customer
Right.
and the brand,
Yeah.
budget conscious or high end.
Mm-hmm.
You need a layout that encourages browsing and purchasing,
Okay.
and cleanliness matters.
Cleanliness is next to impressive inventory management.
You got it.
Okay.
Customer expectations change.
They do?
So mention how you'd stay informed about trends in retail design
Yeah.
and get customer feedback,
Yeah.
maybe through a suggestion box or online reviews.
That's smart.
Yeah.
I bet they'll ask about a time you improve the visual appeal of a store
Oh, for sure.
or a merchandising strategy.
Yep. Be ready to talk about your eye for detail and how you translate customer needs into a functional space.
Okay.
Did you rearrange a display and see sales go up?
Yeah.
Did you implement a new signage system?
Oh, let's talk numbers.
Okay.
Question 7.
Right.
How do you manage the store's budget and ensure profitability?
Oh, yeah. Big one.
This feels like the make it or break it.
It is.
So any manager.
They're assessing your financial skills
Right.
and decision-making.
Right.
Can you balance cost and revenue?
Uh-huh.
Do you know how to impact the bottom line?
Should I use a bunch of jargon?
No, just be clear and show you understand budgeting.
Okay.
Explain your process for creating a budget, tracking expenses,
Yeah.
analyzing reports.
Uh-huh.
Highlight experience with cost-saving measures
Right.
without hurting quality or service.
So maybe I negotiated a better rate with a supplier
Exactly.
or found a way to reduce waste
Perfect.
that shows financial savvy.
It does, and use sales data.
Okay.
Can you analyze trends to make decisions about pricing and promotions?
Got it. They'll probably ask about a tough budget cut
Probably.
or how I approach negotiating contracts.
Yep. Show you can make tough decisions,
Okay.
but stay focused on profits.
Right. Maybe I cut expenses during a slow season
Yeah.
or found a way to reduce staffing costs.
Good example, and RoleCatcher can help here too.
It can.
Their AI can analyze the store's finances and see where your skills would be valuable.
It's like insider information.
Totally.
Awesome. All right, question 8.
Okay.
How do you ensure that the store is in compliance with safety regulations and protocols?
All right.
We talked about compliance before,
We did.
but this feels focused on well-being.
It is all about creating a safe environment
Oh.
for everyone.
So how can I showcase that?
Emphasize your understanding of safety stuff.
OSHA guidelines,
Yeah.
certifications in first aid,
Okay.
workplace safety?
Right. It's not enough to just know the rules.
No.
What actions can I talk about?
Talk about safety audits,
Okay.
procedures,
Uh-huh.
training on emergency protocols.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever fix a hazard?
Yeah.
Did you implement a new safety training program?
What kind of follow-up questions will they ask?
They might ask you to describe how you handled a safety hazard
Okay.
or what you do when an employee doesn't follow protocols.
Right?
It's about showing you can enforce safety,
Yeah.
but in a positive way.
You know, RoleCatcher's Career Guide brought up a good point.
What's that?
It's not just about managing employees. It's about understanding their core functions,
Right.
which affects safety.
That's so true. They talked about skills like critical thinking,
Yeah.
monitoring,
Yeah.
social perceptiveness.
Right. Those soft skills.
Exact-
That are so important for safety.
For sure. And those same skills are important for customer service, too. They are a good drugstore manager needs both. Hard and soft skills.
Yeah, to create a good team and a positive experience.
Okay. Before we wrap up this section,
Right.
I want to touch on something else from the career guide.
Okay.
Hands-on experience.
Right.
They say part-time jobs and internships are really important.
They are a great way to learn and
Yeah.
build your network.
Even if you're just stocking shelves.
You're getting knowledge you can use later.
Right. And it shows initiative
Absolutely.
that you're serious about this career.
For sure. And don't underestimate networking.
Yeah. Building relationships can open doors.
It can.
Okay, we've covered a lot. Interview questions.
Yep.
Realities of the role.
Uh-huh.
And hands-on experience.
But there's more.
Right.
We need to talk about RoleCatcher's AI.
Okay.
How it can help you tailor your CV or resume,
Yeah.
get feedback,
Mm-hmm.
and even see skill gaps.
It sounds like a superpower.
It is. Stay tuned as we unpack all of that and equip you to ace that interview
Right.
and launch a great career as a drugstore manager.
Okay, we talked about the interview questions,
It did.
the realities of the role.
Yep.
And now let's unlock RoleCatcher's platform.
Sounds good.
You mentioned the AI can tailor CVs and resumes.
It can't. It's like you upload your CV and RoleCatcher analyzes it against specific job descriptions.
Right.
And then it suggests changes,
Okay.
like wording or highlighting skills.
So it's not just making it look pretty.
No, it makes sure it speaks to the hiring manager.
Gotcha. What about feedback on applications?
You can upload your cover letter
Okay.
and even practice answers
Oh, cool.
through the platform.
Okay.
Their AI analyzes your responses and gives feedback.
So it's like an interview coach.
It is. And you mentioned identifying skill gaps.
I did. How does that work?
Let's say you want a job, that needs inventory management skills,
Right.
but you don't have much experience. RoleCatcher's AI will flag that as a gap
Got it.
and suggest courses or certifications.
So it's not just about getting the job.
Right.
It's about long-term growth.
Exactly. And here's another thing.
Okay.
You can research employers
Oh, wow.
and compare benefits or culture.
So I can see if a company promotes from within?
You can.
This is great.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk pricing.
Right.
Is this a pricey subscription?
Not at all. There's a free version.
Oh, nice.
With a lot of features.
Okay.
You can create a profile, upload your resume,
Uh-huh.
and get some feedback.
But I'm guessing the Copilot subscription unlocks more.
The Copilot gives you all the AI features.
Right, like the CV tailoring and skill gap analysis.
Exactly. It's an investment in your future.
So you've got a solid understanding of what it takes to be a successful drugstore manager.
You do?
You've got a framework for the interview questions,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got RoleCatcher,
It's a great tool.
and this industry is always changing.
It is.
You talked about online shopping,
Yeah.
mobile ordering,
Right.
and automation.
What's next?
I don't know.
Personalized medicine recommendations.
Whoa,
Drone delivery.
that's crazy.
The drugstore managers of tomorrow will need to adapt.
So think beyond just answering the questions.
Think about the future
Okay.
and how your skills can shape it.
And RoleCatcher can help.
It can.
That's a wrap on our deep dive.
We did it.
We hope you're ready to wow those interviewers.
Best of luck.
We'll catch you next time for another deep dive.
See you then.
Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep aiming for those career goals.